Hello and welcome to Curious Crafts. I am your hostess, Qyjari, or Anne. You can call me anything. As my nana used to say, just don't call me late for dinner. Hey, we're working on some mobs today. I'm not sure what we're going to throw at our banana brothers, our intrepid adventurers. Not this week, not tomorrow, but the following week they should be in the Planer Challenge water. And I've already created the Planer Challenge. If you missed seeing how that was put together, check out my YouTube. It's YouTube/Qyjari. And it should be right there at the top. 3 separate episodes of us putting together the scatter. I say us, I mean my audience and me. I'm glad you could join me today. I have some exciting ideas. Whether they'll come together or not, I don't know. But as you can see here, I raided my children's toy box, and I actually purchased a bin of underwater sea creatures. So that's where these items here, these 5 came from. But these came from the dollar store. It's just a set of 4 little ninja plastic creatures. And this is, I think, this is a knockoff of the fairies. Like Tinkerbell and all those fairies. I don't remember. When I pulled it out of the bag, she did not look like the rest of the fairies. But I had other choices too that I didn't decide to use. And then
Thank you.
Hey T girl, thank you so much for the subscription. That's awesome. I appreciate it. So I had a choice of some other toys that they had in their toy box that I went ahead and eliminated, but I'll share with you. Ooh, thank you so much for following. I could have gone with Candace. Didn't go with Candace. Could have gone with Strawberry Shortcake. Didn't go that route. This Lego Viking, decided against. Thumper, decided that was not going to be an adequate underwater creature to throw at my banana brothers. Or a Creeper. These were all on the no list. So we're going to go with the ones that I chose from the store. And this, I don't know what I can't remember what she is. I think she's a fairy. I also want to point out that this crab came with this adventure bin of undersea adventure toys. But I found my crab from the Bones for Kickstarter that I probably should just use that instead, since that seems more official. But I had to put that one together and paint it. So maybe I'll do that probably off stream, since I have very bad eyesight and I have to use readers to see the smaller details. So I'll do that off stream. So I may not use this crab unless we throw 2 crabs at him. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a ninja, the red ninja, and I wanted to show my audience, and I mentioned this last week, that my brother Jamie, who plays Beaufort on the Banana Brothers, showed me how to create large, or huge rather, giants and other creatures using these ninjas. And I can show you one for sure that we worked on together, which is the fire giant. And this is the same action figure. As you can see, it's got the same pose, but we did a lot of work with it. We bulked him up, we gave him clothes, gave him hair, gave him a weapon, and put him on a thicker base. So that's what I was thinking we'd do with this one. Now, the idea I had, yeah, I know, right, T-Girl? This is gonna be fun. I'm actually not gonna use her body, because that would take a lot of bulking up for the idea I had. So they're gonna be in the plane of water, and I wanted to throw at them a storm giant princess. So I thought I'd make the storm giant princess out of this ninja, but I wanted to maybe replace the head of this ninja with this little mini doll. So I think that's what we're gonna do. But first we have to get rid of some of the features on this ninja. I also thought an Obliteros would be a fun idea, and this was perfect, so we'll work on him today too. That is a CR5 creature, and that could be sort of on the vein of Ursula from Little Mermaid, have the storm giant princess with a pet obliteros, sort of like an eel but a shark, and then maybe have some smaller creatures like a giant octopus, which is a large creature, and a crab like I mentioned, and also a reduced threat dragon turtle. That's its official name, reduced threat dragon turtle, which is only a large creature, so that fills in that 2 inch by 2 inch block. Not sure what to do about the seahorse. There is a seahorse in the game as a creature, but I think it's level 8th, CR 8th, so we may not use that one. They'll just chew through that quickly, but I don't know, maybe I'll just throw a bunch of little things at them and that'll confuse them. So first we're going to work on this one because it's going to take the most work, obviously. So first of all, let's remove our dude from his base here. I use heavy duty wire cutters to remove that plastic. I'm not too worried about how it appears on the bottom, simply because that'll probably be covered up by, we'll give her some boots or something, footwear, maybe flippers, I don't know. I homebrew a lot of my creatures because 3 of my banana brothers are veteran players and dungeon masters, and they kind of know the monster manual forward and backward. So therefore, I homebrew creatures based on those creatures in the monster manual, so that they don't automatically know its immunities and resistances or vulnerabilities. I like to keep them on their toes. So this storm giant princess, let me just pull that up over here on my other screen, has a resistance to cold. So I'll probably keep that, but maybe I'll add something else. Maybe I'll add that she has a resistance to thunder, which makes sense since she has a lightning ability. And she throws rocks for damage, but maybe she'll just throw lightning bolts. I don't know. I haven't decided. Alright, we don't need the... I don't know what kind of weapon this is. Is it a katan? I don't know what kind of weapon this is. A scimitar? We'll shave that off. And like I said, she'll be bulked up a little bit with some cotton. That is the secret ingredient to getting rid of the ninja shape to it. The Fire Giant episode that I ran a couple years ago with the Real Tranquil is his Twitter handle, but Jamie, he's my brother, was one of my favorite episodes. And I promise we weren't drunk when we did it. We're just 2 peas in a pod when it comes to crafting and being silly. So those two combined made a very funny stream. Okay, I'm gonna have to use now my box cutter to kind of scrape the rest of that off. I'm not gonna cut off his head yet. I'll wait until we get the bulk stuff done. I don't want to get anything on. I don't want to add the head yet. And then I can use his head kind of to hold on as I kind of bulk him up with the cotton. What I'm going to use is a cotton mixed with Mod Podge. And these are just cotton balls. These are just, you can get them at the dollar store. I do suggest though you get some high quality cotton balls because the less expensive ones tend to pill. And it's harder to smooth out then with paint or with sanding or anything like that. Okay, boy, this is not easy. Okay, all right, we'll cover most of the rest of that up. Let me just get this one. There we go. Okay. So now we've got his base cut off, and we've got his weapon on the back cut off. She, I should stop saying he, because it's going to be a princess, a storm giant princess. And so he is going to be transformed. Hooray! And I'm going to do that with these cotton balls. So what I have here is a mixture of Mod Podge and water. It's just a very thinned amount of Mod Podge, because it'll smooth out the cotton once it goes on. So I've already opened this cotton ball, but I'll show you sort of the trick Jamie showed me, but I can never get it to work. They're definitely twisted, kind of rolled, and it's hard to do. You gotta find the secret end there. You can unroll it and create strips then. You don't want to just mash the cotton on. These are small cotton balls, so they're gonna not be. This was an older one I had. So we're gonna wanna. Nope, that's not gonna work. Let's try another one. I don't know how he discovered this, but it worked really well. So he just unrolled them like that. He works in the medical field, so he has quite a collection of cotton at his in his craft studio. So he is never for a lack of good cotton. Cotton's important to use rather than something like fiberfill or stuffing that you would use for stuffing a stuffed animal, because it is not polyester. It is cotton. Polyester does not take well, in my opinion, to the process. Okay, so we have enough to start. I'm just going to kind of pad her arms a little bit. She is a storm giant after all. She is a huge creature. That's a 15 by 15 base, which I'll get to in a little bit. I just wanted to start kind of the process that takes the longest to complete, because it has to then dry. I'm just twisting it around, but I'm not going to add any of the glue yet, because then my fingers will get all sticky and it'll stick to the cotton. I want to try to get as much of it on the mini as possible. Okay. Now it looks very thick, but once you add the Mod Podge and the watered down Mod Podge, it will definitely reduce and not be as thick. The bases I use, you can see here on the screen while we're taking time to wrap this, are tiles that I find at my local home improvement store. Usually I try to find the discounted ones in the clearance section or sale items, because I only need a sheet of them, and usually you can get a sheet of them for less than $7, and any size. I got these octagonal ones and six-sided ones for bases. As you can see here, this one is actually for a large creature, but I'm going to use it for my huge creature and just use a piece of styrofoam or cardboard to extend it to 15 by 15. And then I'll use these for my large creatures and extend those out to the 10 by 10. For medium creatures, I have regular mini bases for those. And if you don't have any of those, you can use washers, 1-inch washers. They have a nice weight to them, and they can hold down the mini so they don't topple over. Okay, he's looking like the Michelin tire man here. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna get some paper towel, and because this gets messy, these. And I just realized that I am going to go ahead and put her, it on a base so that it can dry upright. What I use these bases for, or the way I use these bases, is I put the smooth side down. And the reason is because I cover the top anyway. And if we play on tabletop, that the reverse side is more rough. It has rough edges, and I wouldn't want that to scratch anyone's table. Whereas this side, the ceramic side, is very smooth. So, plus I would cover that anyway, and that roughness helps anything that I apply to it stick more easily. So I'm going to add her there with some of my hot glue. I prefer Surebonder glue guns, if you don't know that already. If you follow me regularly, you know that. And the inside joke is Surebonder sponsor us. Okay, so I'm just going to let her harden up there for a minute, that glue. And then I am going to take I can never say it correctly, Obliteros, which is a shark-like creature. And I couldn't find pictures of it. I just Googled, and I couldn't find anything, so I thought this shark would probably work well. But he's got a nice squishy body, and he's not too smooth, so I think I'm going to give him a coat of Mod Podge with white paint, just to give him a base coat, and any other markings that we have, we can paint over the top of that. I like to give a lot of my terrain and minis a base coat of the Mod Podge. It just helps seal the paint that I apply later onto it. I wouldn't recommend, obviously, doing this process for real minis that you would get from Reaper or wherever you get your minis. I'm not going to do his what kind of fin is that? The bottom fin, so I can set him down and he won't stick to it. Because obviously that would ruin him. But for these little plastic toys, this is going to seal it much better than just painting it. The paint will chip off. And as you can see, the glue is starting to separate here on the mini. So I may have to give it a couple of coats. But once this gets on there and dries, it should become more easy to paint and give details. Drops of blood. But you can see it's starting to separate there. That's what your paint would do, and it would not turn out very well. So alright, we'll set him aside. Shouldn't take long to dry. Boop. And I'll probably have to give him a coat or two more. Actually, I'm going to put him over on a little plastic piece there. Get him out of the way. Alright, here we go. This one I'm just going to do no paint, just watered down glue, or watered down Mod Podge rather, with water. I can't tell you what part water, what part Mod Podge. I guess every time. when I apply this though, I want to make sure that I don't pull too hard, because it will pull the cotton away. So it's a very gentle process. Beaufort uses wire. He wraps the mini in wire first, and that helps. But I find that it's hard to smooth out that wire. If you don't use enough cotton, it won't cover up the wire. So I found this process works a little bit better for what I need it. If you don't follow Beaufort on Twitter or join our Discord and see some of the craft projects he puts together, he's currently working on hill giants, and these beasts are incredible. He's using this same kind of process. Oh, I forgot his little bum. Look, oh no. He uses the same process, but because he is training in school to work on physical therapy, I believe he's working on. He's learning about muscle groups and things like that. So he has actually used that knowledge to create musculature on his minis, and he went to post some of the pictures to the Discord, and they were denied because they said it was the pictures that he posted were R-rated, because I guess his hill giants were naked and anatomically correct. Not that they were really anatomically correct, but apparently the filter made it appear that they had some features to them that perhaps weren't appropriate for a family Discord channel. So he had to edit those pictures to it was funny. The link to our Discord is below. You're welcome to join us. We won't be able to say anything till I upgrade you to friend, but I'm usually on there every day. It's a quiet channel, really, but that's okay. Mostly we post pictures of our craft projects or funny little things. Now this will take a while to dry. I'm not going to be able to work much more on this part of this creature, this storm giant. But what we can do, while I have it set aside, is work on the other creatures, give them a coat. I want this creature, I think, to have a staff of lightning, so maybe we could work on that. I don't know why, but this leg, his right leg bulked up much better than his left. Oh well. We could also make a pouch to put lightning rods in. I like the idea that this, let me flip back to the Storm Giant Princess, has a lightning strike ability. And I want to be able to highlight that. So maybe we'll make some sort of lightning strike staff, or I don't know. Like I said, I'll homebrew it and I'll add some other stuff to her. Give her a pet command and send her Obliteros after them. Not sure. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry, and she is looking good. I want to think of what other kind of clothing I should put on her. Like I said, I googled it and I really couldn't find a good picture of a storm giant princess. I found plenty of storm giants, but not the princess variety. Oh yeah, a fire giant princess? What? I mean, I need to see a picture. Maybe I'll look up fire giant princess, because I like I said, I looked it up and I could not find anything about a storm giant princess. I found a group of them, but they kind of looked too sexy. I know that that's not a thing, but they just kind of looked too, I don't know, nice to kill, or you know, they looked too, I don't know. I'm saying that wrong. They didn't look like a big bad evil guy. I know they are, but they didn't look it, so I kind of didn't want to go with the whole sexy thing. I kind of ruined that whole idea though when I picked out this little this cute little fairy to use the head. I'll check it out. Thank you. Okay, as you can see, I'm giving this Obliteros another coat of this Mod Podge mixed with water, and it's filling in those gaps. And I'll keep doing that to bulk them up a little bit and to keep covering it up, just so that the paint that we apply and the details do not disappear because of the original texture of the plastic that this company used to create this toy. I don't know if these toys were meant to go in the bathtub. I don't know. It didn't indicate on the bin. I have to be careful though. I don't want to add too much Mod Podge because I don't want to take away details, like his the side gills there, and his eye and his teeth. So I'm going to smooth those out a little bit. I don't want that to be covered up by the thickness of the Mod Podge. I'm trying to get inside his mouth and I'm missing. There. I had too much paint in there. It was pooling. Okay. Leave him there to dry. Okay, so I'm going to give her hair a coat, and I'm going to keep her head attached to her body for now because I want to be able to paint her. I can remove it later. It may still be blonde, but again, painting it is not going to work very well without putting some sort of layer on it that will help hold the paint. So again, that coat of... I hope my daughters aren't watching. Well, they shouldn't be there at school. Granted, they're at school upstairs, but they should be virtual learning, not virtual watching mommy craft. Okay, so I'm gonna give her... What color face should she have? I'm thinking a storm giant should have a light gray face. Maybe keep the blue eyes, but maybe her face should be light gray. I think that's what I was going with. Oh, cool. I'll check those out. Thank you. Yeah, I'll check those out. I want to see. Okay, so what should we work on next? We should work on... Yeah, light green gray. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Let's go ahead and decide on the next creature. We've got our storm giant princess. She is drying, as you can see. Her head is yet to be installed, but there she is. And we have her over there. Obliteros, that's drying as well. A giant octopus. Here we go. Now this set actually came with two octopi. Came with this large orange one and a small orange one. Now I've had this one. I've had this one for a while. And it was not originally this color. I painted it. I believe it was orange as well. I don't know why people think octopi should be orange, but I gave this a paint and then a highlight brush with some blue. But I think this was orange, and it had a... it was on clearance. It was one of those nicer ones, the really, really hard plastic ones. So they've actually faced a young kraken before, and that's what I used this for. So I have that one, and I didn't want to use a big kraken or even a young kraken. So I thought just a giant octopus would be something. They're only a CR1, but you know, maybe I'll homebrew them into something a little more tough. So this will be a large beast, and he will go on one of these bases here. Again, I get these bases at the home improvement store. I try to get just a sheet of them. Usually it's 12 inch by 12 inch, and depending on the size of the tile is how many you'll get. This is actually about a third of the tile I have. I just pulled that out of the box, and I don't actually have a lot of this size left. I had to I had to pull off an old project that I hadn't finished off of this one to use it today. So that one will be our Storm Giant Princess. The Obliteros is huge as well, so that'll take this base. The Giant Octopus is large, so that'll go there. And then the Turtle Dragon is large as well, so it'll take this one. Turtle Dragon. It is large, so it'll go on that one. And then the crab. And the crab is only the one from Bones, the Kickstarter I got involved with, the Reaper Bones 4 core set, is, I think it's only a large, but that's not going to be enough damage. I'll have to probably homebrew some stuff on him. So I thought I'd go with the stats of a hulking crab, which is huge. So that's not gonna work because this is only a large, and I don't think I can make him huge. And this one, no matter how much I try, is not much larger than that one. So maybe we won't do a hulking crab. Maybe we'll do a second Obliteros, only a different color. And the good news is I have a second Obliteros. So maybe we'll do that. I'll go ahead and paint it and get it ready just in case. Because these Banana Brothers, they need a fight. They just chew through everything. I have to throw the entire arsenal at them. Before I paint this one, I'm going to attach it to the base. Just so that I can show you something different during this stream. And the way I make it so that he's on the base but kind of swimming is I'm going to use wire, a very thick gauge wire. I think this is about 18 gauge. I don't think it's 16. It's either 18 or 20. I took the wrapper off. And I'm just going to attach it to the base and then have him poke it into his belly there and have him kind of float like that. And once he's attached, then I'll paint it, and then it'll be easier to dry. Should have done that with this one, but live and learn. So I want him swimming not too high up. When you stream Dungeons and Dragons on Twitch or anywhere, I use a background, which you all saw me create last week, the terrain for the plane of water. But I always use a 10-inch tall background that I kind of fill in with a picture or an image, or in one case, a green screen with a void background, like a starry void. That was for the Plane of Fire that they did a couple weeks ago. And I have to make sure that none of the creatures I create are taller than that 10-inch. So that the camera angle on it doesn't remove it from the view. Words and words. Okay, so as you can see, I've made a little, using my needle nose pliers, I made a little curlicue at the bottom of this wire, and that is the way I'm going to attach it here with some hot glue. And I'm going to then cover this here with a thick coat of paint and Mod Podge, of course, and probably some, I meant to center the stick, not the, there we go. So I centered this, not the base. And I thought I would just use regular sand. So I have a jar of sand here. What do you think also, viewers, chat, what do you think of, instead of throwing stones that this Storm Giant Princess threw skulls. I have this collection of skulls. I think I got it at a craft store. It's meant to be beads on a necklace. But wouldn't that be cool if instead of throwing stones, she threw skulls? Because these are nice fist size for a giant to throw. So maybe I'll put a couple of these on the ground around her on the base. That would be perfectly creepy. Okay. Alright, so let's see. I want this creature to be about that high off the ground, I think. Maybe a little bit lower. Maybe right there. So I'm just going to clip a little bit of that. And I am going to poke it into the mini. If it doesn't poke, I will have to do something else. It poked! I will glue it as well, but it poked. Perfect! Alright, I'll just put a little bit of glue on there, poke it in again. Okay, now it'll be easier to paint and it'll dry that way. Okay, let's give it a layer of paint. And that was this one. That was the Mod Podge with the paint. All these little miscellaneous jars around or containers around with who knows what. I do label the top. Let's see. This one is white paint with glue. So this one. You see why it's very necessary to give this layer. You see how it's already separating on this. I did wash these ahead of time to get some of that factory, I don't know, whatever might have been on the product, but it's still doing this separation, so. So we should call the two sharks, the two Obliteroses, Flotsam and Jetsam. No, we probably shouldn't do that. I think that would be bad. Now here's a question for all you dungeon masters and players out there. Should I introduce this Storm Giant Princess as a threat? Or as just a lost sweet little princess who can't find her way back home, and maybe that's the challenge. Then have her attack! I have a very exciting idea that I'm going to be doing for Banana Brothers holiday special on December 1st. Stay tuned for that for sure. Bait and tackle, I like that. Absolutely the lost sweet princess. Yeah, she's maybe the challenge is just to help her and her two little friends get back home. And they just have to swim. Just keep swimming. And get back home, and then she lures them into a trap. Yeah. I hope the Banana Brothers aren't watching. It should be working. That's why I do these during the day. Okay, so that one's drying. Let's check on the other one. It is still a little bit tacky. Oh, it's dry right there. But maybe since he's dry there, I'll work on this fin right here. Bait and tackle. I do like that a lot. So this idea I have for our I'm calling it the Winter Crest Festival, or I don't know, I might name it something else. Basically, it's our holiday special on December 1st. I will be inviting guests. If you are a patron at a certain level or higher, you qualify to be a guest on the show. And it's going to be a holiday one-shot. And I have a very exciting idea about it. It's going to be totally nonsense and totally silly, but I think totally fun. So if you want to become a patron at the Mischief, I think it's Mischief or higher. It's the 7 to 10 tier. Either 7 or 10. And you have the right setup to be on a stream. Good microphone, good camera. You could be a guest player on D&D with the Banana Brothers. Okay, that's drying. Let's give her hair another coat. That's already very dry, so that's good. She's just a lost little storm princess. She can't find her way home. Oh dear. And then BAM! Lightning bolt right to the face. Alright, let's do our octopus. I don't want to attach him yet because I might want to paint underneath. Should he float? Should the octopus... Octopus? Should the octopus float also, kind of like that? Maybe he should. Maybe I should stop painting that and add wire to him too. Where'd I put the wire? Oh, here it is. Alright. Yep, they should both float. And then after our December 1st holiday special, our one-shot, I am taking December off just for a holiday break. Be back in January. I think the back of the head for that one. I don't know if he'll poke through though. His plastic is much more firm than the sharks, so I may have to do a little trick here. Like that. Attach him like that. Yeah. It's hard to see, I know. I'll hold it up to the camera when I get it glued. So I just did sort of that situation on the underside. Because it would have taken probably a nail or a drill to get through this. This is a very hard plastic. All right, let him dry and I'll do the turtle. Our sea turtle. He has sort of a... I'll try it. I'll try poking it, and if that doesn't work, I will do the same process. Because his isn't as bad. Nope, nope. Well, no, better not. I'll just twist it. It'll hold just fine. Okay. Same thing, I'll glue it and then hold it up to the camera. I only have the one camera going for this series. It's difficult sometimes to rearrange all the cameras for each show. There we go. So, just like that. Now he's gonna be, to center him on the tile, I'll bring that up there. I'm gonna have to hold that for a second to wait for it to dry. There we go. And actually, I didn't give him a chance to dry at the top, so I'm not going to try to hold that. There we go. That may have to be re-glued. Didn't give him a chance to dry before I glued him on. Okay, this one's dry though. Ooh! They actually look creepier when they're above. They look more formidable when they're hovering over the players like that. That'll look better. Alright, let's finish painting this guy. What color should this octopus be? I like the idea of a purple one, maybe. Let's make this colorful. You tuned in last week to watch the making of the terrain. You'd notice that remember that all of the terrain is very colorful. The rocks are just a gray, dark gray with a blue wash on it, but the foliage, the coral and the reef, no, whatever that, the coral and the flowering shrubbery greenery around it is all sorts of bright colors, oranges and yellows and reds and pinks and purples and blues. So that'll be a very bright and colorful episode for sure. Certainly much better than the bleak brown that they're facing at the currently in the plane of Earth, which will continue tomorrow night. The second half of the plane of Earth. I have to re-glue that. They are facing a... Oh, I can never remember what it's called. It's sort of a screaming fiend baby with an arm, 2 arms and a leg, but not quite developed, and it has a large gaping maw. There you go, Matt Mercer, a large gaping maw. Everyone has to have a drink now. It's over 1 o'clock here. And it's got an umbilical cord on its head, and it's really freaky looking. They're facing that, along with some lair effects. I didn't tell you that. We should have talked about lair effects. I decided that these Banana Brothers, they're just too confident. They need some unusual things thrown at them. So they are getting lair effects on each of these plane challenges. Let's see how we're doing on this one. Oh, no, I gotta give this one another coat. So for the plane of fire, they had lair effects that caused them to be thrown backward. Plumes of fire threw them backward, and depending on what they rolled, it could have been into the lava, the rivers of lava on the terrain. And for the earth, if they've got these 2 pressure plates that they had to activate. And if they were up on the pressure plates, or they got on the pressure plates, they rose up, And unfortunately, that caused them to have a negative, or a disadvantage rather, on rolls against the falling rocks that occurred every round. And if, but they were safe from the earth tremor, which happened every round as well. If they were on the ground, they had to roll for the earth tremor. They've been fortunate so far, but a couple of them are starting to lose a little bit, become a little concerned about their health. So what kind of layer effects should the ocean, the undersea area have? I'm thinking something like some sort of whirlwind or vortex, or what else? He's still wet. He is still very wet, and I just got him all. I just got fingerprints all over him. Oh, I don't need to paint his head. Just remember that. What are there? Some sort of bubbles that come up from the ground that kind of cause a choking effect? Maybe? I don't know. I'll have to think about it. And to make things easier, when I put together the encounters on D&D Beyond, I homebrew the lair effect. And then I homebrew it as a creature. Because half the time when a creature has a lair effect, I forget, as the dungeon master, to actually use it. So this way, if I'm using D&D Beyond, I'm reminded every round during initiative that it's that lair effect's turn. So my players both hate and love that idea. Alright, let's give a base coat to the bases that we have here. I have already pre-mixed. Where'd I put it? Did I bring it over here? Oh no, I didn't. I'll go get it. I already have pre-mixed Mod Podge, water, and Territorial Beige paint, which is my go-to paint for most things that look sandy. So what I do is I purchase Mod Podge in various sizes, but I get the 16-ounce ones, and when they're half down, using the white other places, I mix with a paint and water so it's ready to go. So here I have the one that's Territorial Beige, here I have one that's black, and I have one that, well, this one's white. There. Didn't have a container for that one, so I just used an old to-go container. Alright, so let's get the base of... Oh, let's do him first. He's easier to see. Let's just give it a coat of this Mod Podge. And kind of help seal that area there. And then later we'll add more sand, or we'll add sand to it. We'll add another coat of Mod Podge and then add sand and kind of give it that underwater, the floor of the ocean look. I'll hold this one up so we can see it better. There, it covers up that wire and the glue, and then when I add the sand, it'll cover it up even more. I'll have to find another base. I'll have to go purchase another 8-sided base for for bait. Tackle's got a base, but bait's gotta get a base. I might have one on another creature I could maybe repurpose. One that I'm not using. Alright. Okay, so that's as far as I think I can get on this project today until these dry. I will set them out in front of a fan to dry. Now, I need your opinion, please, chat. I have this cheesecloth, and this cheesecloth is very handy for covering and creating draping effects on creatures. You can get this at the cloth store, or actually some food markets have it because it's actually used literally to strain cheese. That's why it's called cheesecloth. In the old days, in the prairie days when they had to make cheese, they used cheesecloth. And I'll show you one that I made, a mini that I made using this stuff. It's a braids that I made. And these are just dollar store zombies, and now's the time to go get them. If you want, with the Halloween season here, go grab them. They're $1 for 12 of them. You get these little minis, and I just pluck them onto a regular base, a 1-inch base, and draped this cheesecloth over them with some black watered down Mod Podge. And you can see this is very, very stiff. And you can actually see underneath the cheesecloth where the paint didn't go through, but on the top. And I did a lot of it, and then once it was all dry, I just took some scissors and cut out that jagged shape there. So that's something you can do with the cheesecloth, and it's very handy. So I thought I would drape it over our princess and make some sort of clothing or some sort of storm cape. So maybe we'll work on that tomorrow or the next time I craft. But thank you all so much for joining me today. T-Girl, thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate it. And for Don Antonio UK2, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that also. T-Girl, I'll check out those pictures of this fire giant princess and maybe make something comparable with my storm giant princess. Or who knows what she'll turn out to be. I don't know. And I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for joining me.